Sean Duffy, co-host of The Bottom Line on Fox Business, also a former Republican congressman for Wisconsin, joins me now. I mean, there's so much to unpack here, but can we just talk about Eric Schwerin actually visiting the White House at least 36 times? It could be more because the number keeps growing. Visiting the vice president. And this letter that comes from the vice president looking forward to his next visit. Why are they so close?
With Devin Archer, right? So, but the bottom line is, why don't they come clean, right? And why does someone have that much contact with the vice president? What's going on here? And I think there's more smoke. Republicans are looking for a fire. The problem, and I know we're going to talk about this later, is the FBI. I mean, any American with these kind of ties and connections and this kind of smoke, they would be looking at, they would be investigating. And you have basically not just the FBI, but the Democrat Party and the media turning a blind eye to everything that's happening in Biden world. It's like there's this massive protection mechanism that wants to make sure no one looks at what they've done in the past and the money they've made in the past and the meetings that they've had that will lead us to future investigations.
I'm glad you brought it up. Speaking of the FBI, Congressman Jim Jordan calling out an FBI special agent who lied under oath about his decisions with big tech about the Hunter Biden administration. Jordan actually posted a Facebook employee's message from October of 2020. That employee said he had spoken to FBI agent Elvis Chan, who said he was, quote, up to speed on the Bureau's Hunter investigation, and that, quote, that there was no current evidence to suggest any foreign connection or direction of the leak of the laptop story. But in sworn testimony 2 years later, Chan said he had no internal knowledge of that investigation into Hunter.
So it appears that Chan was the point man between the FBI and social media companies, and he lied under oath, right? So it begs the question, why are FBI agents lying about the laptop and their involvement with social media companies? And listen, if you take a step back and look at this, the FBI has been the protection mechanism for the Biden family. This is very easy to handle, Julie. You could do a forensic audit. The FBI does these all the time. The IRS does these all the time. The shell companies that Julian Turner referenced with Kevin McCarthy, those shell companies evaporate. The Bidens might think they're brilliant, but they're actually not. They can. The FBI or the IRS can see right through them and see where the money goes. And I think they won't look at where the money goes. They won't do a forensic audit because they know that the money goes from foreign countries to Hunter Biden into Joe Biden's pocket. And they talk about foreign interference in elections. They're all concerned about foreign interference. We have domestic interference in our election through the FBI's crazy behavior in this last election.
No, forensics investigations shouldn't be that hard, right? It just depends on who or not blocks them from happening. Very much like the cocaine that was found in the White House. You notice that we haven't talked about that? That has been completely swept under the rug. Figuratively, literally.
Like Secret Service can find out whose cocaine that was. There's cameras.
If it was anthrax, we'd know who brought it into the White House.
Exactly.
Okay?
But they can find out whose cocaine that was.
Yes, because they don't want to. That's precisely the reason why. The Sunday news shows typically do recap the biggest political events of the week. Not last Sunday, though. They totally blew off the explosive Devin Archer testimony. Republican presidential candidate Doug Burgum called out ABC News on air. Watch this.
Was Mike Pence right when he certified?
I just listened to 15 minutes of legal debate on this thing, and I'm sure you could run it again 7 by 24. But what I know is that I'm running against Joe Biden, and that's what we're going to be talking about. And of course, not a mention in the last 15 minutes of Hunter Biden or the laptop. Americans out there do concern. There are people on the ground that are not watching these Sunday programs that are saying, why is the DOJ defending Hunter Biden, and why are they attacking President Trump? It does seem political to people.
Seem political. I mean, it couldn't be more political, and good for him for calling them out on it. But it's absolutely true. How do you ignore this story? This is a huge story. And President Biden is not only a president, he's a presidential candidate.
It's the biggest story of the week. So Devin Archer comes out and says, listen, yes, Joe Biden was on the phone at least 20 times with Hunter Biden and his potential clients or clients, causing the White House to change the story that Joe Biden had no knowledge of Hunter Biden's business dealings to Joe Biden was never in business with Hunter Biden. Massive story they cover up. These are the same networks, though, who, however, for 3 years covered Russia collusion every hour of every day of every week. And again, that's why they lose credibility. People don't look to mainstream media as a news source. They're propaganda sources.
Optics is everything.
It really is.
It really is. And this next story, the optics are bad. Heartbreak on full display. There are families of 13 American service members killed in Afghanistan speaking out nearly 2 years after the administration's botched withdrawal from the country. The parents of 31-year-old Staff Sergeant Darren Taylor Hoover say the administration lied to their family about Darren's death. An outpouring of pain and raw emotion. Watch.
Confusion, deceit, lost, angry, sad, heartbroken, and disgusted. I was told to my face he died on impact. That's not true. The only reason that I know this is because witnesses told me the truth. I was lied to and basically told to shut up. Biden, the Biden administration, Blinken, Milley, Austin, Whited, Ball, incompetent, cowards, evil. I want accountability. Why would they just not say, oh, we made a mistake?
Be a grown man. Admit to your mistakes. Learn from them so that this doesn't happen ever again.
A DoD spokesperson told Fox, by the way, that they express our deepest condolences to the Gold Star families and are forever grateful for their service, sacrifice, and committed efforts during the evacuation operation. The statement notably leaves out the word success. And even after that horrific suicide bombing near the Kabul airport, the Biden administration still called the exit mission a success. Remember that? The Pentagon's response yesterday to these Gold Star families notably avoided that word and said this. And I quote, can we put this up for a second? The Defense Department, which I just said, expresses our deepest condolences, once again, leaving out the word success. So they're speaking out of both sides of the mouth, and that is a slap in the face of these Gold Star families.
So first off, the withdrawal from Afghanistan was not a success. We all know that, and that's a point in Joe Biden's pollings where he absolutely collapsed. But speaking about these Gold Star families, it was heart-wrenching testimony. These are people who don't want to be political. They don't want to attack the commander-in-chief. They don't want to attack the president. They don't want to attack generals. But when they're lied to about how their sons and daughters have died, how they passed away, or Joe Biden tries to commiserate with them and say, I lost my son too, I received a flag myself. Beau Biden didn't die in combat. He died of cancer. Mm-hmm. These are young men, 13 men and women who didn't have to die in Afghanistan. It was but for the failures of Joe Biden's administration that these young people aren't with us today. And I think shame on the Biden administration. Treat people fairly. And again, you can make mistakes.
Yeah.
You can have errors. If you admit them, people can deal with that. But when you don't admit that you made the mistakes and you say you were successful and then you lie to the families, that's what you get.
Well, they also deflected and talked, and the Biden administration then kind of deflected and said, we are trying to spare another generation of fallen soldiers. How about the ones that fell unnecessarily in that botched withdrawal of Afghanistan? No accountability whatsoever.
You can get out of Afghanistan all you want, but get out the right way. Okay. People don't have to die. You don't have to give American territory and armaments to the Taliban when you leave.
All right. Sean Duffy, thank you so much. It's always great to see you.
You too.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.